How does EDG flip a 3-8 deficit on bind without crucial meta agents, without relying on retakes, and against heroic individual rounds? EDG didn't just come back against TYLOO, they did it with Phoenix and Harbor, a combination EDG had never run on bind, and in Harbor's case, not since 2023. So the real question is, how did EDG take control of the game without ever letting TYLOO settle into theirs? By never letting TYLOO play the same round twice. Using agents TYLOO hasn't prepared against, and controlling the rhythm with conditioning and constant pace changes, TYLOO is constantly having to re-evaluate the start round game plan every single round after the first few seconds. This is where Phoenix and Harbor come in, not as comfort picks, but as tools to interrupt rhythm and play a unique style that on paper works based off Bind's map structure. And from here, everything else follows. A-short pace changes with Cove conditioning, creating branching possibilities, Harbor util stalls and changing map structure with his walls. Phoenix's unpredictable nature means that EDG are constantly changing the conditions under which TYLOO is allowed to play. This is perfectly exemplified on Bind, where statistically, it's the second lowest plant rate across all maps, with an insanely high post-plant win rate both A and B, with attackers favoring A hits. Why does this matter? Harbor opens up to more opportunities for conditioning, stronger sight holds, and stall capability than any other smokes agent, effectively not letting them even get into the post-plant scenario. Harbor's wall, when used towards A short, segregates elevation layers, reduces variables, and singles out potential duels. Attackers go U-haul based off this wall, that control means nothing without the bomb down. On the flip side, if attackers are majority showers, walling showers, and using new Harbor Flash, which slows them even more now, makes Harbor utility on this map more focused on delay for rotates and high EV utility trades on first wave interactions. Round 12 to 11 is the perfect example. A single wall's stall enables 4 players to stack A into TYLOO's hit. If it's a Brim Smoke, maybe TYLOO would have just ran out, but the slows create a sudden lapse in decision making, disrupting the flow during executes. Good Harbor sight util helped, but wasn't the biggest reason why EDG had control of TYLOO the entire defense. This is. A lot of teams just put their traps and setups, hookah, belong and showers sporadically hoping enemies will come, but many don't actually realize. A short is the highest early round fight zone on Bind. Heat maps show this is the first 5 to 10 second start round fights on Bind, so if you're going to condition the opponent util wise, run proactive higher risk plays, and build that mental image that A is stronger, you do it where start round fights are at its highest probability wise. Now we layer in Smoggy's Cove. This is where most viewers miss the point. The smoke isn't purely about blocking vision and start round delay. It's about opening more possibility branches. And because A short already has the highest rate in which you come in contact with the attackers, every branch has higher odds of converting into kills. Even when not using the smoke, it still forces the possibilities of the above option into TYLOO's mental. Let's see what they do. Cove is first used. From TYLOO's perspective, they're thinking, we need to respect this, so raise satchels from further back than what originally can be. This has lower speed, lower distance traveled, and a less explosive entry. EDG can even counter-orb quicker, giving them a higher possibility in first blood. Cove doesn't appear this round. Here's the attacker's thought process. They didn't smoke. We can walk up with our Viper wall, now there's less risk. So TYLOO contacts instead of utiling like previous rounds. This way they try to deny EDG early info so they can have a more explosive entry. But this is exactly what EDG wants, because now they have this trap setup where Fade Dog confirms that they are contacting, and they suck nade a potential kill and separating them, making it harder to trade, and Kung capitalizes. This isn't just a random trap setup. They're cashing in on the previous condition deep Cove usage, forcing an alternate reaction from TYLOO. Triple contact A short. Phoenix util comes out only after they are spotted. Even though they only trade 1 for 1, this is still valuable because due to it being a grouped contact push instead of instant sprint contest with util, more time is burned. The Harbor wall then goes deep A short after the brawl ended. This way right side players don't know left is walled, creating further delay. When the wall fades at 57 seconds, TYLOO realistically only have around 30 seconds to clear the first contention zone again, then commit to sight or fake. With an initiated dead, makes a less believable, so when Sword 9 clears his showers to get info and wants to keep EDG honest towards A, but there was no immediate follow-up to sight. From EDG's perspective, this timing doesn't match a real A hit, so Chichu actually leans B, which this decision ultimately saved EDG, as Chichu is able to aid Kung in securing the sight hold. EDG is not only one step ahead in the conditioning game, but can on command punish any sort of timing mistakes from TYLOO also. Smoke is deployed again. It keeps the possibility alive. So now TYLOO has to ask, are they fighting or are they contact walking? Are Are they doing a potential trap? But this round, no one is actually using it at all. In the following round, the same smoke appears again, but this time, 2 players contact walk behind it. Having conditioning rounds where you don't do anything off of the smoke provides the safety net. From EDG's perspective, we now get the timing because of what we showed earlier. This is why doing plays based off conditioning gives you better positions and opportunities to capitalize off timings, which is way better than zero opportunity to do anything by passively prodding safe angles. Finally, the solo off angle in U-Haul is another example of a use case for the smoke. Attackers exit the smoke. They instinctively clear left first, as they believe the box on the right naturally covers them, but they will never expect this pixel U-Haul angle. The amount of layers to EDG's gameplay every single round, from small micro details to macro movements, just off one lane, had a heavy impact on how they managed to flip the game back into their favor. B post plants on bind have one of the highest attacker win rates in the game. So if B is almost impossible to retake, and A is where attackers instinctively go more, how would you set up your entire team's positioning? Here's the first thing EDG does that feels wrong to others, but is actually levels above everyone else. They avoid the option of doing full B retakes altogether. Instead, EDG leans 3A, 2B, sometimes even just solo B. B players play aggressively, even with only 1 to 2 people, using info util and having the willingness to fight. A players are in positions where they're ready to TP and not passively prodding. The goal isn't to hold down the site at B. The goal is to never allow TYLOO to get close to the B post plant scenario. That single decision explains why EDG ended the game with 0 intentional B retakes. Look at the defender's overall setup conditioning. Early on in the game, there's heavy A presence, constant punishes at showers and A short, with the option to freely TP to B. And in the later half of the game, it shifts into more B heavy setups. Why? Because EDG convinces TYLOO that A is dangerous based off of the A short conditioning mentioned previously and Kangkang's amazing operator skills in showers. Once that mental imprint is set, TYLOO instinctively begins framing B as a safer site to attempt, which now falls into EDG's stack.